it all depends on what your goals are, right? And some people will be completely fine with the positive stimulus solely being, or positive feedback from putting content out there solely being that you had something that you wanted to say and something that you're passionate about, and you said it, right? Yeah. And then the other side of it, which this is like literally the complete opposite perspective, or opposite end of the spectrum rather, is I want 1 million views and I'm going to make this content so that I can get 1 million views. Now, where I lay on the spectrum, I would say is somewhere in the middle, right? The way that I personally think about a YouTube channel is that it's a business, right? Yeah. But I didn't get into this line of work because of money. I got into this line of work because I'm passionate about art, right? Mm-hmm. Getting into the consulting world and also just working with various channels that have a lot invested. It's important that if we want to continue to grow the business, if you are putting a video out there that you're investing a ton of money in, you want to see a return on investment, right? So, and I guess that is for people that I've worked with personally. It could be the dollars that you're actually like legit, like liquid money that you're putting into a video, or it could be what you value as your time. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of depends. But the channels that I've worked with, they invest a lot into their videos. And so, we want to make sure that the video continues to grow. And so when we decide to do a video concept, there are a couple boxes that have to be checked, right? Mm-hmm. The first one being, is this something that we're very interested in? Is this something that we're passionate about? Okay, yes, it is. And then down the line, there's like few in between when it comes to, can you package the video properly with title and thumbnail? If it's something that we're interested in, we know it'll be a good video. And then at the end of the line is the box that you check where is this broad reach? Is this broad appeal? Is there a wide audience that's going to enjoy watching this video? And we look at the amount of time, whether it's travel, the amount of money that you invest, whether it's travel, whether it's the time that you spend. And we kind of make a decision based off of where we project the video to perform. So it really is kind of a balance, right? We won't make the video just because we know that it's going to get views. First, the box that has to be checked is that it's going to be enjoyable for the content creator in the first place.
So what I'm getting here is that you won't make a video just for the views, but you also wouldn't make something if you knew it was not going to perform well.
Correct. And that's strictly just on based off of the goals of the content creators that I've worked with. Yeah. Right.
Well, what's interesting? On my last podcast, which had nothing to do with YouTube, but it was with an entrepreneur, he talked about the difference between a job, a career, and a calling. And he said a job is like I go get hired somewhere and I make money. And generally, people don't like jobs. It's like, this is my source of income, but I don't like it. A career is essentially a glorified job. It's like, I'm somewhat interested in what I'm doing. I'm making a salary. I'm making good pay. But again, it's like my life is here. My career is here. They very rarely overlap. And he says, a calling is you're doing what you love and you make money from it. So you get to impact people with your job. And I think that's a a luxury that a lot of YouTubers get to have, and I think it's why it's the most desired job in the world right now, is that you essentially can make it a calling. Yeah, so it is interesting when I think about that. And something else I've had like an ego or even like pride struggle with is that I don't know if it's because I'm the sole wealth person or just because I'm like, I've never wanted to be like anyone else in anything I've ever done. Like, to the point where like a good YouTube strategist will be like, hey, do you want your podcast to perform well? Well, look at the top performing podcasts in your niche. How do their thumbnails look? How do their titles look? How can you replicate, not copy, but how can you replicate and steal like an artist, Austin Kleon? Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, refuse to do that just on like the ego of like, I don't want to be like other people. Mm-hmm. And that's been something that's sacrificed my performance where I'm realizing like, I'm actually sacrificing my impact, my calling, and my message to others by not being willing to look slightly like someone else.
And it feels impure, right?
It feels impure, but it's all in my head.
Right. So I think, yeah, part of the way that you're putting your angle on that idea could be making it feel more, I guess, dirty or not something that's true to yourself. But if you think about it like this, so you look at of course there's podcasts out there that you really enjoy to watch, right? And you have a taste yourself that you've developed over time. Mm-hmm. Looking at more at the angle of what do you like about those podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. What aligns with your specific taste that you've developed, and then taking little bits and pieces of that and transforming it into your own style. So when with the steal like an artist concept, I mean, it's often talked about that originality does not come from completely inventing your own thing. Yeah. Nothing is fully original. Yeah. Every idea has been inspired in some way, shape, or form based off of the past. Whether that's experiences you've had in your life, just some random conversation that someone has like in a table next to you, or you really enjoy some content that you saw. I think the very important thing to go about making content in a way that is not exploiting others' work and others' ideas is taking that one thing that you like from, let's say, X creator and really making it into your own. Yeah. So
I do have a lot to say about this. Something I wanted to make sure I touched on before we moved is like how you were talking about being a consultant for other YouTubers, and when you get hired as a consultant, they're probably not hiring you to see if they're passionate about what they're doing. They're hiring you to get more views, to perform better. And something that I think, where it's like I just brought up that Rick Rubin quote I love, which is like, there's commerce and there's art. Mm-hmm. I think though the addition to that quote that I would add is that what he's saying is absolutely true. There is art and there's commerce, but you can be passionate about both. And I think that's like something where it's like, I've almost like suppressed my passion about commerce and business and being an entrepreneur because I'm like, I want to be such a pure artist. And again, it's just like, it's like self-destroying ego. And it's like, I love Patty Galloway. I love talking to you. I love these people who like are obsessed with the details, are obsessed with those features and how to improve. And that is like, it's funny because if you were in the business world, you would be called like, you would just be called like a genius, like someone who's smart by being so like commerce focused. But in the YouTube world, it's almost like we separate the two. And I actually have a friend who has a really good example of like a peer artist. He talks about like dads that come home from their 9 to 5 and then in their garage, they have like their little project they're working on, whether it's like this car that they're fixing, whether it's like some Lego Star Wars or some like woodworking stuff. and they're never going to put it online. Their wife or kids might see it once a month when they walk out in the garage. And that's art. That's you doing it for yourself.
Right.
The second you put it online, you want something from it. And I don't think there is anything wrong with enjoying YouTube both as art and as commerce.
Right. I think one way that I've been looking at things lately is trying to sit on a balance beam between playing the game, like sitting within, there are confines, let's say for YouTube in particular, of, what are these different things that you need to do in order to be successful metrically?
Yeah.
And then also pushing back on that when you can.
Yeah.
When you're at the end of the day also trying to put out content that has a great story, is pure art, right? Yeah. I think a lot of the time it's easy to look at creators with a lot of views and see it as, oh, they're, using all these hacks and they're really just, it's all a lot of like psychological tricks.
Yeah.
But a video is not going to be entertaining and it's not going to get a lot of views if it's not a good story.
Yeah.
So I always keep that in mind. And I think, like you said, there are people out there that enjoy doing a little bit of both. And I think that's kind of where I sit. I definitely will push back in the edit, like for one YouTuber, my main client that I work for, where I'm not just doing the consulting, I'm helping come up with ideas, producing, filming, editing, all the way through with the strategy. I push back a lot on certain areas, letting it sit for a bit, letting the video play out, because it's an important moment. And if it doesn't have that time, it's going to take away from the story rather than adding to it, if that makes sense.
That's interesting.